And we are live. By live, I mean recording, not actually live.
All right, guys, welcome to the one shot that deals with the backstory of Shava. Today we're starting off with Shava leaving a druid mission from her hometown. With her are her cousins, a set of triplets named, and I'm going to butcher these, Mariel, Naivara, and Kaylin. Also, her sister, which I always forget her name of.
Looks like Celine is how you'd pronounce it. Syllin.
That sounds right. Also, your sister Celine is with you. Your parents sent you off on a mission to the neighboring town, which the druids have decent interactions with. The druids go over every once in a while, help them grow their plants, give them a little bit of magic and aid here and there in order to keep the town out of the city or out of the woods. That way, the druids can do what they would like. The town people, as you would know, let me send you guys some basic information on what the players know about what is going on. It is now in general chat. So, you guys, as druids, would know they cannot reveal anything about Fey blood. So, you guys can't talk about anything about how elves have interactions with Fey, if you do or don't, if anything about the background of you and your deity, anything dealing with any Fey that you guys might be coming interacting with. If anybody in the town brings up anything about Fey, regardless of whether or not you have or have not done it, it's a no-go. Druids just don't talk about it. You cannot reveal anything about the Druidic language. Druids do have a specialty language that only they can speak with each other that includes other elves. You cannot reveal the location of the circle within the woods and thus can't talk about any landmarkers, anything like that. You cannot agree to any hard details without consulting the circle. So, Shava, while you are leading this mission, you are pretty much just getting the P's and Q's all in a line so you can take it back to the actual elders and have them put their stamp of approval on it. You're just the face of the conversation.
Okay.
The person you'll be talking to is Birdie. They are one of the village elders, and they have handled negotiations with the Druidic circle that you live in for a couple of decades. They're fair but frugal. You have been told that the growing population of this neighboring town, which is called Morwade, is putting pressure for new buildings, so more demand for lumber and things like that that are kind of threatening to encroach the current balance. The growing population is nervous of possible Fey interaction nearby. That is always a concern when anybody finds out that there's druids nearby. People just don't really like them. It is not at all in any way, shape, or form a 100%. Druids, because of rule number one, you don't talk about the Fae. You never know if the Druid Circle actually has any interactions with the Fae, or even if Druid circles at all actually talk to the Fae. Druids just don't fucking talk about it. The normal populace has no fucking clue. They have assumptions, but they don't know. But it doesn't change the fact that that seems to be where people end up interacting with the Fae. There's druids around, so people always get little antsy, little worried. The growing population has gone from mostly humans, which elves and humans tend to get along pretty well, to also a notable amount of orcs and gnomes. There is an elvish settlement, Valana, in the Druid Woods. They are not druids. They kind of work with the druids, and they know the general vicinity of where the druid circle has camped out, but that's it. Aside from that, blah 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 blah. Valana doesn't really know anything more about the druid circle than that, but the town doesn't know that. So it's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell situation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, does all of that make sense? Any questions?
So my elves are Fey elves. So basically,
Yes.
we don't let people know that we're Fey elves.
All right, so this is the way it works. Way back in the day, there was a god named Fordini that made the elves. And there are assumptions about how Fordini made the elves, the youngest race on this plane, that nobody likes to talk about because it made a whole bunch of people angry, and then Fordini got banished. Fordini is no longer on this plane as far as everybody knows. They might be, but as far as everybody knows, they're not. And then there is a subgroup of elves that seems to be a little bit more sensitive to extraplanar energy from the Fey plane, and that causes them to be Fey elves or wood elves. And they look a little bit different than the normal elves. They get the little, like the woody looking appearances. They tend to be a little bit more colorful. They tend to have a couple little extra characteristics, and they kind of like to roll around in it a little bit. How they get this, why they get this, and other such things tends to be a point of contention not only with other races, but within the elves themselves.
Okay.
Because Fortini is no longer around to correct the story. Now, your druid circle probably has their own beliefs of how that functions, but it's kind of like the same thing where like the Dragonborn are like, no, we are Sky's first child, and there was no other children before us, and the dragons were like, no, that's us fuckers, but they're not around to argue it very much. And then the other races all have their own opinion on whether or not Sky's first children was the Dragonborns or the dragons themselves.
Okay.
Very similar. Your mom isn't around to tell you what actually happened when you were born. I'm sorry. You've been adopted.
Okay.
So what you want to think, like as your personal history of what you think your family would feel about the situation, by all means. You, as a Fey elf, would know that you are in fact sensitive to Fey magics. You do in fact know that Fey exists, and because of your personal mission, you do in fact know that there are little tears and thin spots between the two planes that every once in a while shenanigans happens. But that is like the definitive things that you would know.
Okay.
And if there's anything else you have questions about what your character would or would not know, obviously, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. So, the point of view going off is not only to just kind of like talk and be the spearhead of like updating negotiations and boundaries with the settlement, it's also to kind of babysit your family members. You're in charge. So you're going to have to give them roles and things to do when you get there and keep them from being in trouble and spilling the beans, so to say. You're pretty much responsible.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Since it's just Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hello.
Obviously it's going to be a little bit different
So do
than
you
if
want me to be a
everybody was here.
problem? Since like part of the plot is like make sure no one else says anything, am I supposed to like want to say things?
All right, so here's your character's current and only motivations. 1, you are in fact a druid. You are happy to be a druid, and because of that, you don't want to be kicked out of the druid circle. So while you may want to cause shenanigans for a family member if you decide to play a mischievous character, you're not going to do anything that's going to get you excommunicated.
So more like making them trip on a branch. That?
Normal family bullshit.
Okay.
Your character's name is Nivara.
For sure.
And that is in the general. Lindsay will be playing the role of Kaylin, just
Yes.
for character insights. And then as you guys kind of develop your personalities, we'll get you a couple extra bits before the second scene. Shava, you have been to this town before, as probably has the rest of your family members. Let me know if you guys can see that picture.
Oh, I didn't realize you were sharing a picture.
It is in Foundry.
Ah.
Did it show up in Foundry?
No.
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 Okay.
Large black square.
Oh, well, if that's what we're talking about, I can see it, but that's because I've got DM privilege. Ah, okay. Now I see the thing.
I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
It popped up?
And it did
Yeah.
also pop up on the recording apparatus, so also cool.
Dope. Okay, so everybody can see the picture?
That is a lot of wood.
It is. Pretty much. the settlement lives on the very edge of your woods. Your woods kind of are like where the red tree or the redwood tree-esque kind of forest starts. They're welcome within reason to harvest other woods away from yours or to import them from other areas. Um, in return of you guys kind of being like, as long as you're respectful, they kind of act as like an initial guardian role to anybody coming to the woods. So they might send somebody into the woods if they feel like somebody's coming to investigate you guys, kind of, a little siren, a little flare, a little horn, a warning, so to say.
Yeah.
And because of that, they are a bit of more defensive settlement.
Also because they have that giant freaking wall right there.
Also that.
A nice wall.
Big
It is.
wall.
It is. But like I said, it's kind of growing in size and it's starting to get a little too tight. So they got to figure out some other building problems.
I mean, I see some little cabins have been set up outside.
Yeah, just some people coming and going. There might be some shifters there that are visiting the town, but a lot of them are just people who would like to eventually, live here. All right. So because of this growing itchiness, Bertie did request an audience with somebody so they could kind of figure out what was going on and discuss possible changes and growth. So, Shava, since you've been here before, you would not be stopped at all in the front door. They would be expecting you and welcome you in and kind of just usher you to the main area of the town where Bertie is waiting for you.
Okay.
She is a doddering little lady, maybe about 5 foot tall, big giant, full circle glasses, and a little ornery smile. Um,
I like her already.
she's got a little thing going on. She greets you very quickly, but you would know because you talked to the circle before you left that your companions kind of have to go do some other roles. So, out of the people that were given to you, you do need to send somebody to kind of like stay at the door to make sure nobody else overhears you talking to Bertie. You need someone to go check the fields because part of the thing that you do is you kind of help them grow their plants a little bit more. That way they don't have to cause as much outside draw. And you do need to have someone stay with you. And if you're keeping track, that's 3. So you have a 4th person that you can kind of just send to help do whatever. So
I'm
let's.
gonna send Cylin with Kaylin to
Okay.
go check the fields.
All right. So someone
And
Caitlin.
what was the other job?
The other job is to stay at the door, and someone has to stay with you. So those are the other 2.
I'll have Navara stay at the door.
Okay.
And how do you pronounce her name? Morelli?
Morelli.
Morelli? She can stay with me.
All right.
And I am going to yell to my little sister to behave and follow Kaylin's lead.
Oh, that is a
Alright.
bold strategy considering what I wanted to do with this character.
So Cylin, who you would not know this, Katie. Cylin is pretty much the one sibling that strongly does not want to be a druid in the family.
Oh,
So
there's there's
Anti-druid.
Thank you.
She dreams of adventure.
listen, only so many people can live in the same set of woods so many times before you feel like you can only study a leaf for the 50th time before you get bored, damn it.
I mean, some people have really exciting jobs, like watching the door. So
Yeah, obviously.
some of us are happy here.
So, Cylin is a family member, but she has not ascended to druidism yet.
Is druidism a religion? I thought it was I thought you were born,
So that is unfortunately one of those things in D&D that's a little complicated. In this plane, druidism is a society and a class. So you learn the magic, you learn the language, you learn what you are supposed to do, It's not necessarily a religion, but it is 100% kind of like Confucianism or something like that, where it is a lifestyle.
So it's
Due to its association with nature, it does tend to be associated with certain gods over others, but that's not like an inherent thing.
Yeah.
okay.
So elves, which are the children of Fordini, the god of flora and fauna, um, tend to have a lot more druids involved than others, especially with the Fey ones. Um, Shava's family is multi-generational druids. They're the circle that lives in the woods. Multiple generations of her family have existed within that circle. This is where it gets even weirder. So, druidic circle is a term used in D&D for your subclass, but it is also a term used for like the family of druids, like the people that you commune with and stuff.
Think like a witch's coven, but like
Yeah,
nature.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be honest. Thought it was a real circle.
valid. I did too for a while.
Okay.
I always thought it was
got it.
like a Stonehenge circle that everybody went and like did their druid magic at, and then that's where they
You,
got their
you know,
powers
like
from.
the mushroom
it
circle
can
with
be.
like you shouldn't go there because there's fairies in like
Yeah,
England or something. I thought that was what we were doing. Okay.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's a coven. Got it.
yeah. It's a coven.
Completely here.
Okay,
100%.
okay. So it's kind of like an overlap of terminology. So for Shava's character, she lived in a druid circle that was her family was a large part of on the mainland. She got recruited by the druid circle of the Isles. There's only one. To do something and kind of pulled some strings to get her temporary immigration paperwork. So this story takes place on the mainland.
Okay. So we're not yet. Oh, right, because I'm related. Got it.
You are a cousin. You are
Yes.
Shava's
Yeah.
cousin.
You are a one in a set of three.
Yes. You are a triplet.
I'm a triplet?
Yes.
Which one
You
am I?
are. I don't know. Kaylin's the youngest of three, isn't she?
I actually did not put ages on them, but she is Navara.
She's Navara, so she.
Yes.
Well, if we go off of the lovely thing that you made, we'll just make her the middle one.
Okay.
And they are
Okay.
still young enough that they have their child names, right? That's a thing. Did I remember that correctly? Or
They have adult names.
oh, okay.
Only Scyllin and Val, which is our nephew,
Hmm.
has their child names on that side of the family.
Okay.
I'm starting to think that your background was a whole lot more filled out than mine was.
She literally came up with this family tree at our behest for the purposes of this story. So don't feel bad on that one. You're going to have just as fun character backstory stuff next week when your session happens.
I wasn't uncomfortable. It was just more like, wow, I gave a paragraph. She out here going, giving effort.
She gave us a family tree this week. All right, so Kaylin and Scyllin are gonna skitter on off.
So to confirm, is Kaylin older than Scyllin then?
Yes.
Or the okay.
Scyllin is the youngest of the two twin sisters.
Mm.
So my mom and Navara's mom.
Mhm.
Out of all of them, Scylin's the youngest.
Good.
All right, so dun, 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 dun. So Kaylin and Scyllin run off to go work the fields. Super exciting, as everybody knows. Farm work is the best, but at least they're not in the woods, so change of scenery to work their magics. Birdie kind of ushers you in, has her typical little tea set up for you too, and the sibling that you kept with you, cousin that you kept with you, Mirelli, and goes, please get comfortable, have a seat, and we'll get started quickly. I know you have a preference to leave before it gets dark, so we'll try to get through this as fast as possible.
I smile gratefully and sit down cross-legged.
Morelli sits down next to you, but in general seems to be pretty happy with just kind of letting you take over. Um, so Birdie kind of, takes a few sips and goes, okay, as, our messenger told you guys, we are having an increase in population right now. We've had some people, come in, and we're pretty much going to need to build some more houses. Which, we know which direction we need to expand in. It is what it is. Um, we'll probably make a little suburb outside of the wall and then add a wall eventually around them. Typical land stuff. It's not that big of a deal. But something that should be of note, that I'm kind of like bringing this up is like we talk about, some give and take, is that we have had an increase in gnomes and orcs, and they do specialize, especially the orcs, in glassware. And Bertie says this kind of like happily because it's something that the druids commonly trade with them because it's a pain in the ass to make in the woods without giant furnaces. Uh,
Makes sense.
and so she's like, so we will have an increase in high quality glassware for you guys. And she kind of makes a vague gesture and she's like, potion working? Um, so we do plan on bringing that to the table, and the orcs are, of course, happy to supply that as soon as they get up and running. Um, but our biggest problem is that, well, it's making the houses. We need more wood.
How long do you have before you actually need all these houses? Would it be possible to build a small wooded area that you guys can cut down at your own leisure?
Not particularly. So we've already kind of, gone through our more flexible, fast-growing woods. That's how you could probably pass some of the huts as you came in, for temporary housing, which those will be great for like the next few months, but it gets very cold, and those woods tend to not be good at winter housing. Um, we've got the inns and stuff here that we can house people over as things get built. Both gnomes and orcs, luckily, really don't have a problem bunking with family. Um, but it's not going to be good for long term, and unfortunately, trees around here, they just don't grow as fast as they could. So we either need to figure out where to source it from, or we need to import it.
I understand you guys are not wanting to import either if they need to be built before winter.
Yeah, it'll be tight, and it'll be, the wood won't have time to dry before they start carrying it here. Which, the orcs and the gnomes, anytime you move cities and you move somewhere, you know that you're gonna be sardines for a while. um, so they're flexible, but we at the
Only to
very
a
least,
point.
yeah, we need to get started at the very least.
How many acres of wooded area would you say you would need?
It depends on the age of the trees. Um, we do we did find last year, if you remember, in the river nearby, sources and proof that there's limestone around. Um, so we could either we could possibly trade the limestone for stuff, but for like the amount of acreage that we would need, we would probably need. She thinks for a minute. She's like about 3 acres. Um, and then we can, use other methods that you guys have taught us to like do the walls and the plaster and that sort of stuff. So it's, just mostly the framing that we need.
What about using that limestone?
And she stops and she thinks about it for a minute, and she's like, I that's actually a good point. One of the gnomes was actually bringing that up recently, about something that they had figured out about the limestone. If you're comfortable with it, I can call one of them in here and kind of go over it with them as well.
Yes, please.
Okay. Give me 1 second. And so she actually goes to the front door and looks at Navara.
Oh,
And yeah. And she goes, "Hi, would you be willing to go get um the front, the our guard at the front, and ask them where a gnome named Forest is. She says in a bit of a stutter. She's like, Weird name. I know. They got it before they came here. Forest Felbridge. She had some ideas about limestone. She should probably be over just at the blacksmith's place. Would you mind going and getting her real quick?
And then I guess I like run to the guard.
You don't have to run. You can just go. It's okay.
Am I supposed to be physically moving to the guard because I can't say anything?
You can say stuff. You just are limited on not saying the things that I talked about. So don't speak in the druidic language. Don't talk about face shit. Don't talk about the location of where you live.
No, I completely understand. I thought I was just meant to say I run to the guard, and then everyone didn't say anything, so I asked if I was meant to move my character to the guard, because I don't have a character right now.
Oh, yeah. No, there is no map. This is all theater of the mind. So we'll get a map for the second half of this, but it's not necessary for this part.
So I'd go to the guard and just ask him
Okay.
to grab Forrest, whatever the last name is, because they would remember, but I forgot.
Yeah. Miss Felbridge. Yes. Hold on, this way. And he leads you pretty quickly. You're kind of in the center of town, and so the blacksmith isn't too far away, just a couple minute walk down the road. As Shava, as you're waiting, your sibling that stayed with you actually moves to out the door to kind of keep guard. And eventually you get to the blacksmith's place, and there's a little gnomish woman running around with violently purple hair, just having a good old time, sticking their hands in tool chests and moving things around as a rather bewildered looking human watches them just tinker away at some sort of slab of dirt on a table in the corner. The guard kind of points to them and goes, I don't really know what Birdie wanted them for, but that's who you're looking for.
All right, thank you. Do I know why I'm getting them? No, I don't.
Mm-mm.
So I go up to Forrest. I'm like, hey, Birdie? One?
Birdie?
Here? Birdie, yeah.
Yeah.
Birdie wants you in this big fancy room. Please come with me.
So as you talk to Forrest, she flips on a pair of like those magnifying glasses and looks at you with like the largest set of eyes that you've ever seen. And it's kind of comical because it almost looks exactly like Birdie's glasses, except for they're intended to make her eyes look buggy. And Forrest goes, and you are?
Avara.
Ah.
I'm Shava? Is Shava's cousin?
Shava. The gnome kind of titters back and forth, bouncing their head, and they're like, all right. Birdie say what she wanted?
Not to me, no.
Well, fudge. She kind of looks at the slab behind her, literally takes her bare hands, slaps them into the top, and like scoops what looks to be like some sort of clay material into her hands rather loosely and goes, okay, well, lead the way.
All right, so I lead her back to Birdie, and then I go back to the door.
As you are kind of walking back, Forrest kind of looks at you and goes, what brings you to town?
Man, this list of things I can't say is so stressful. I can't even say I'm from the woods. Like, I'm terrified of this stuff.
You can just awkwardly say that you don't do anything. That's perfectly acceptable. You're not having to impress me, if that makes sense.
That's for sure the answer. I was like, I'm here to watch the door.
To the door, says Forrest. Oh, okay. Sounds like an important job. Yes.
Oh, for sure. They give the door to the most capable person.
Capable. What do you
Yeah.
specialize in doing? Wait, are you like the very perceptive kind of person? Are you the very strong kind of person? She kind of like flexes her little itty bitty arm, almost dropping the pile of dirt she is carrying.
I am really good at standing still.
Standing still. I'm very bad at that myself, honestly. But well, each to their own. I'm sure that comes handy sometimes. But
Like when you're watching a door.
like when you're watching a door, that's true. That's probably why you're so good at it. She seems like she's genuinely trying to give you a compliment. She's just scatterbrained. So okay, well, in that case, I will leave you back to your guard at door guarding. She speaks over herself. She's like, I'm not quite, you know what I meant. Anyways, so she knocks on Birdie's door now that you guys are there, and she's like, hello, I'm here. I have dirt with me and the door guard. Uh,
Hello.
so Birdie looks over at Shava and kind of like raises an eyebrow as if it's okay to let them in.
I nod.
Birdie calls in Forrest, and Forrest kind of ponders in, and the sibling that stayed guard until Navarra came back nods to Navarra with kind of an amused expression of like, yeah, you had to deal with crazy, and walks in with her. So she's holding dirt, and so she kind of like sees the circle of like Birdie and another elf and the elf that came in the door and goes, oh, you're the druids. You're the druids from what's in I'm assuming the woods. I don't know. Nobody tells me anything. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Oh, that's just lovely. She starts to reach to like offer her hand to shake and then realizes it's covered in dirt and then just kind of shrugs and continues to like baby hold the pile of dirt in her hand. She goes, Birdie, 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 I was very busy. What can I do to help you? And Birdie's like, oh well, it's perfectly fine. We had to we were talking about how we need to build some more homes, and you had mentioned something about the limestone and being able to use it to build things. And Forrest is like, ah, yes, of course. Well, you see, the limestone, and she kind of points at it, and she's like, there's actually a lot of it kind of like chunked up into the clay around here, and we found out that if we mix it with other things, and some egg and some water, and you stir it around for a long time, it makes glorious concrete. You got a ton of it.
So, can you build sturdy living quarters out of this concrete? And would it be warm enough for people to survive in it throughout the winter comfortably?
Well, concrete in general, does a lot better for keeping things cool than keeping things warm. So you would have to mix it with thatch of some sort to kind of insulate. But other than that, you could probably do it. The main problem is we would have to get started very quickly. We'd have to mine a lot of it very fast, because you would need the heat of the summer to dry it. Once it gets cold, it'll have problems where it might crack a little bit. And while we're working on formulations and stuff to make sure that it doesn't crack, science only goes so far so fast. So yes, there would be a problem with, and she kind of like points at the house around her. Concrete is not very good for multiple stories, I guess is the best way to put it, especially if it does not have anything to adhere to. But we could definitely get some nice foundational buildings built, and then maybe add something on top of it later, like stone or wood or other such materials until we could find something. But we could definitely get some beautiful basing done. Um, It'd be a lot more stable.
And how much? So, would you need wood to build roofs on these, or would you use the concrete to build the roof as well?
We would need something to joist the thatch. So we would probably wood would be the easiest.
Okay.
The thatch itself you can use whatever we have around that can make the thatch like material. Um, if we planned on building, she thinks about it for a second. You kind of like see like her entire body relaxes, like her eyes flicker back and forth. I would have to know the amount of snow we averagely get here to figure out the steepness that we would need the roofs to be in order to not collapse during the winter. After that, we could probably figure out the minimal amount, because I'm assuming it's a wood thing. I mean, because it's what we keep coming back to in druids, and I get it, I do. But you can't waste the materials, otherwise there won't be any materials. Am I right? But anyways, once we can figure out the pitch of the roof, we can figure out the minimal amount of wood that we can use. We'll also have to talk about the minimal amount of floor space that we will need. And communal spaces. Luckily, orcs are pretty communal compared to gnomes, so they'll probably need very minimal spacing when it comes to shared spaces. But for the wood specifically, we will still need a minimal amount of wood to keep up the roof at the pitch that we will need, but I will need at least a few days to calculate how much that would be.
Okay. That seems reasonable. Navara, I shout out.
Yes.
Do you remember I think we have a limestone area near us if they need to use some of that. Do you know how much is there?
80 tons.
Would Fantastic, thank you. Would that be enough to help you out as well?
So, Forrest just kind of look at you and goes, of pure limestone.
Yep.
80 Did you make the roots grow out of the trees and rip it up for you? Goodness gracious, what kind of mining do you have? That's fancy.
Well, we haven't mined it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can get us the limestone without too much. Luckily, the concrete, we actually don't need it in huge slabs, so you don't have to be super careful. It is the benefit of the situation, you know. But if you can get us that, that would definitely cover it, and then we wouldn't actually have to excavate from the river. The river being the biggest problem here, you know. That's where we found the source of it, and that's kind of where the soil has washed away the most, so we can see exactly where it is. But we would have had to been super careful about polluting the river, which nobody wants. It's a way to kill us all. Um, yeah, if you guys can get us the limestone, the sooner the better, because like I said, we do need to get it to be drying soon. Um, Over time, we could probably figure that out, but yeah, that would be more than enough limestone, more than enough.
How much should you guys need for the time being? And while you figure out how much wood you need, I can go back home and we can talk about how we're going to get it and get it safely. So you guys can have it in the next, 2 weeks?
Well, that would be fantastic. At the very least, enough to get started. Well, I unfortunately am not. She kind of sits there and she's like, I would have to talk to a couple of my friends that are better at what's the word for it? Building placement, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm not very good at like a person needs 50 square feet in order to not feel suffocated around others.
Yes.
So I'll have to talk to them, and then we'll have to talk to Bertie. And she waves at Bertie, and Bertie is just watching Forrest with the most bemused old woman expression. She goes, "We'll have to talk to Forrest, to Bertie, and once we talk to Bertie, we'll be able to Birdie will be able to tell us what is needed for like the populace." And she kind of like sits there for a moment. And she goes, "How about this? How about I give you a basic estimate per person, with the calculations for how much wood we would need, give or take, depending on the amount of snow per foot that you get, and then we'll go from there. But at the very least, that'll give you an idea of like the bare minimum that we would need, and then we can give you more concrete numbers in a few days."
Concrete.
Concrete.
Okay. So we will get started when we get back. There's a couple more things I would like to talk to Bertie about before I leave.
And then she literally just reaches her hand into the pile of her mud, rips off a chunk from the top, and just slaps it in your hand and goes, "You can take this back," as an explanation of like the limestone. Not that you don't know what limestone is, but so you understand what we were talking about with the river, in case that comes up later about other things, and like if you guys can't mine enough, and just to be safe, cover all your bases. Anyways, goodbye. And Forrest just leaves.
I
Forrest
just
is gone.
kind of stare at the lump of
Dirt.
dirt in my hand
Andy. Yeah.
and mumble a thank you as
No problem.
she's already gone.
She's gone. She's gone. Give me just 1 second.
Also, I have a small unrelated question, but what you calls it? I think I heard a squeaker toy of some description. Is there a pupper in proximity?
You probably heard a bark, not a squeaker toy.
Ah.
But yes, she is about 7 feet away from me on a couch chewing her bone.
Aw.
And Sebastian is sitting right in front of the computer.
As cats tend to do.
Yes.
While we're not being incredibly on task, can someone tell me what a valid number of limestone would be?
I'm not sure specifically. To be fair, limestone is pretty heavy. It's more the fact that it was 80 tons of pure limestone. Like, there is a solid bed of rock of this shit, since it tends to be more in, like, gravel form, from my understanding.
So I'm imagining Hawking.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like you said 80 tons of limestone, so I'm like, we've got a very, very steep mountainside.
I mean,
yes,
you guys
that's
are
much better.
I mean, you guys are located on like a cliffside area here. So it's not unreasonable for you guys to have access to exposed giant freaking chunks of limestone. It's just, it was just like perfect improv, just like pause. 18
My
tons.
contact was messed up, and the second I took my left contact out, I was like, I'm not important right now. I can fix this. How much of this do we have? And we simply went with our first thought, okay? First thought, best thought.
I'm assuming this is 80 tons of limestone we can get easily without destroying any very nice land.
If I already made it 80 tons, we might as well make it easy to access.
Yes.
I could totally. So to be fair, considering the size of these trees, because I think we kind of based it off of like the redwood forests of like Washington and stuff. I could totally see there just being like these giant like crevices where the roots have just straight up like cracked the earth asunder. So you probably could, like, there probably are, like, you would know this because there are just like these canyons, and one of them just happens to have limestone in it. I also do not know much about the chemistry or mechanics of limestone, so I do not know.
But what's great is none of us do, so we can just make it up.
That is fair.
So this is pseudo based on the fact that they just recently finally figured out that do you know about this,
what
Lindsay?
You were talking about. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
as soon as you started talking about concrete and limestone, I'm like, oh my god, I know what she's talking about. She's talking about the aqueducts.
So they finally figured out how the ancient Greeks made their concrete.
Okay.
So you know, like the Pantheon and all of those like old like 2,000-year-old buildings, and somehow they're still holding up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like we've got erosion, but like the ceilings aren't collapsing, and everybody's been like, I don't understand. Well, architects have known for a while it's because they did something to their concrete,
especially because they have a lot of these structures that are like partially submerged, like the fucking aqueducts, and yet they still stand. They're still doing shit.
And the erosion is minimal, like absolutely minimal. We have nothing that competes with it. So we for years were like, I don't fucking understand how they did it. It's two things. One, they found out that they warm mixed their concrete, which causes a slightly different chemical reaction. But the major thing that they were missing is that for a long time they thought the limestone chunks in it were unintentionally large, that they just didn't have like the time, the desire, the whatever to make them as small as the other particles in the concrete. No, that's part of the effectiveness. So Greco-Roman concrete self-heals. What happens is these giant limestone chunks, and I say giant, but I just mean like in comparison to the other particles in the concrete, create weak points in the concrete that the fissures will naturally go to. So stress goes onto the concrete, it cracks a little bit, the crack automatically goes to those limestone chunks. Those limestone chunks, when they are wet, calcify and reseal the concrete.
That's super cool.
It's fucking amazing.
And so that is the science that we have finally figured out for the best concrete that we have on record, pretty much.
So a little bit of history with our D&D.
Exactly. Welcome to D&D science. Did anything that I do actually, have real science in it? No, but it referenced real science, and that's the same thing.
I was wondering because I knew that we were going to talk about limestone, and then you started talking about concrete, and I'm like, this is not where I thought this was going, and then I realized, wait a minute, I know what's happening.
So, concrete.
So you are already planning on using the limestone.
Yes, it is actually in my notes.
Okay, cool. So I led us in the right way.
You did. Birdie, like meta notes, Birdie has like a lot talking points possibly that you could have taken this conversation. Limestone was one of them.
Okay.
All
but
right.
now I would like to talk to Birdie. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I just want. Were any of them just give them the trees?
I mean, they could have, but she's a druid. That probably wouldn't have gone over well at home. But there was other things like lessening trade for what they already get from the druids to compensate for them importing stuff like that.
But there's still more conversation to be had, apparently.
Yes.
Yes. So now that we have our building material settled, let's talk about this glass. And I grin.
Birdie has like that. Hold on one second. Birdie does the anime glasses flash thing. And goes, of course. What would you like to talk about?
So this is a lot of work for us getting this limestone, and in a short amount of time. I'm sure we can do it. But I would like not only some glass bottles, but I would like some stained glass windows for some of our buildings.
Well, the good news is that we did have the perfect combination of people moving to town for that. The chemistry aspect of the I always want to call them goblins. God damn it.
Orcs?
No.
Gnomes.
Gnomes. The chemistry concept of the gnomes combined with the increase of glassware from the orcs, they should be able to theoretically work together to get you some variety of stained glass. If you're wanting something local, though, and she gives you a knowing look, because that is the druid desire, we are going to have to work together to find local chemical compounds to get you a variety of colors. So that will have to be an ongoing project. However, I can say that if we want to do this, we should probably focus on making a larger glass workshop for the orcs first, right after we get the basic housing done. That way we can expedite the process.
We could build the workshop.
Oh. Well, if you're offering some of your druidic architecture inside of our town, we never say no to that.
Could we put it outside of the wall so we could have more of a hand in the glass making process? I think there are a few of us who would like to learn some new techniques.
So Birdie kind of gives you a look and goes, "So you're asking to invest and participate in the workshop?"
Yes.
Birdie kind of sits there for a moment. And she goes, "I understand that the communities that make up Druid circles are often family. And I'm sure that not everybody wants to go into the family business. So we would be more than happy, I'm sure. Orcs value tradesmanship above practically all else. And if you wanted to send somebody to be an apprentice, I'm sure that they would be gloriously happy to do that. If you're wanting stakes in the trade of the glass, however," and she gives you a knowing look, she goes, "that will have to be debated over a little bit more. We understand that you are offering to make the building, but I'm not sure if the orcs that would be running the building would be willing to give up a large, significant portion of the business itself."
Honestly, I don't think we're looking for trade money to be coming in. We do most of our trade with you guys, as you know. We enjoy our very closed off, and we trust you guys. I don't think we would want to open ourselves up to a lot of new people. That would
Mm,
definitely be something I would have to talk to my family about before I could make any decision when it came to expanding our trade.
mm. Birdie kind of sips on her tea for a few minutes and she goes, "Well, how about we do it this way? Send somebody back in a couple days and we'll have the hard numbers for you for what we expect the bare minimum we'll need for housing. Um, because if the concrete estimate is correct from Forest, we'll want to get that started as soon as possible. That way everything can dry by winter and we're not forced to over lean on lumber for, safety. In that time, I will talk to the orcs who would be doing the majority of the glasswork and see where they're comfortable being watched and having their trade secrets given over, and see if there's any gnomes who are interested in glasswork. Their interests are flighty. You never know exactly what they're going to want. And see if it's even possible to have a merger of interests for specifically what you're asking rather than us just making it. Um, because once we can figure out if the group project is even feasible on everybody's minds, we can decide how big the workspace would need to be, and then that would be able to further settle down if it would be feasible to build it outside of the wall, safe enough to build it outside of the wall, uh, what would be needed structurally for it, that sort of thing.
I give a nod of understanding. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, I was going to so I do also want to tell you we have an overabundance of deer this year being born, and from last year, the number of bears has decreased significantly in the woods. So, if the hunters would like to take an extra, I don't know, fifth of deer this year to help clothe and keep warm the people who are going to be outside, uh, that would actually be a help to um, our woods in general.
Oh, that is fantastic indeed. I will let them know that the increase will be happening as per usual. We will, of course, avoid any pregnant deer and any young. But yes, that will help enormously. Um, Oh, that is correct. That's right. That's right. That's right. So not Forest, but another gnome was talking to me about possible interest they had in the area. And as you know, we do have a little bit of gold panning in the area, and they do feel that we might actually have a little bit of gold, more so than what we thought originally. Now, us, we don't really want to draw a lot of attention to it. We like a small little town as much as we are growing. We're not interested in having a gold rush and people coming up here to just strip the world bare of all of our gold. But something to make of note is that they did say that you can you can kind of turn it into like a red coloration. So, depending on what your family says about possibly increasing access to the river without having to worry about it, we may want to debate ways to mine gold and look for the source of the gold that is in the river. That way, we can look for some more pigmentations, if not the gold itself. If you're interested in local colors for your glass.
It does sound, that sounds promising. Just make
Very,
sure that the water supply is not tainted in the
of course.
process.
We would never want to do that. We normally have like one river through the area, and we're quite high up in altitude. I don't even know if we could get good wells up here, to be frank.
That is the one thing on top of this plateau is fresh water.
Yes,
All comes from the same place.
be quite a problem. Quite a problem. Well, I think I have my work laid out for me. I'm not quite sure what else I could tell you about. She kind of thinks for a moment and she goes, I believe that does cover all of the bases. I will have updates for you the next time you guys visit, and I will have those hard numbers for you.
Thank you very much. It was a
Yes.
pleasure talking with you as always.
Thank you, Shava. You as well. So while Shava is getting ready to leave and take the people that were with her, let's cycle over to Lindsay. Lindsay, what shenanigans happened while Shava was discussing mineral rights?
All right. So, as part of their standard druidic practices, I don't know if I personally am a druid of high enough level that I can perform the specific spell that is necessary, i.e., plant growth, but I certainly would not have enough time to perform it because you need 8 hours. Because I double checked. I'm like, wait, do I have time to perform the spell? No, to do it on the fields, you need to cast it for, I shit you not, 8 hours straight. It's a very good spell. I used it once. It's very cool for flavor, but 8 hours straight, so no. So instead, knowing that this is sort of a temporary thing, the instructions would have been 1, to check and see if how the plants were doing, and 2, to see if they have expanded the fields to the point where we would need multiple castings of the spell. Basically, how many druids do we need out here casting for 8 hours straight? Sorry, I just forgot the spell takes 8 hours. I love that spell, but it takes 8 hours. Anyway. So, as Kaylin is going out into these fields, she is staying close to what is the other?
Selen.
What is Salen? Do you say that?
Selen.
Selen.
Dylan.
Selen with an I. Got it. Say or Y possibly. Anyway, I sound Selen. She is staying close to Selen and looking around warily. And she's I don't know if we ever mentioned it, but at the very least I know she has sort of like a walking staff of some kind. Not that she's like lame or anything, but just that she has a staff of some description. And she's staying close to Scylla and looking around warily, and she's like, and she leans down to Scylla. It's like, keep an eye out. We don't know necessarily if any of these newcomers are shifty. And then she kind of just looks around and it's like, or no, not shifty. That wouldn't be in the word. She'd be illusory. Gives her like a wink, and then she is like, so she's keeping an eye on I'm gonna keep mispronouncing it. I'm so sorry. Scyllin?
Yes.
Awesome, Scyllin. So as she's keeping an eye on Scyllin and basically everything else as they walk out to the fields, once out there, she's kind of like she starts sort of tapping at the ground and marking it out with the staff to try and get an idea to sort of judge the character of the soil before leaning down. And I don't know how else to describe this other than like because pretty much imagined this character as like a mildly antisocial bog witch. I'm sorry. As she starts like she then picks up a handful of dirt, like shifts it around, sniffs it, and then like gives it a lick real quick, and is like looking around to make certain nobody's like looking at her weird for. And she's like, "All right, it's still in good shape. Now, help me double check the. Now, help me pace out how wide the fields are so we know how many we need to do the magics. And so basically, then her and she then just. The rest of the time is just her and Cylin trying to, like, coordinate and math out with steps how big a field is.
So they're
As
Americans.
Say what? Oh, because they're marking out fields with feet. Ah, okay. Good. Excellent. As they like, as she's like, okay, so I measured this section and it's this much, and then Celin's like, wait, no, I walked that far over. It's like, well, what do you mean? Now there's a double up, so then they have to go back and recount. And anyway, so that's basically what they've been up to. A mildly, like, a somewhat mad bog witch has been, like, hanging out and trying to do math with a mildly uninterested teenager.
Yes.
All right. But this is not my endeavor, so carry on.
All right, so as you approach them, Cylin is looking more and more just so uninterested in what's going on, but is loyally plodding along, putting one foot in front of the other, trying to keep track of what's happening.
So we're over there in the field now?
Yes, you have made it to the field, and you see your sister and your cousin kind of just doing their best.
I walk up to Syl and put my arm on her shoulder, put my hand on her shoulder. I'm like, how'd you do?
Cylin just slowly looks up at you. You're lucky I love you.
I laugh and tousle her hair. You know, Mom and Dad told me I had to take you. I know you didn't want to come.
Yeah, they wanted me to come so I wouldn't be complaining at them for 5 hours while you were gone. If they just left me in the woods to be, life would be better. But here I am.
I thought you didn't want to be in the woods.
I would rather be in the woods than counting a fucking farm plot, but here we are. Here, Cylin, count the farm plot that you can't even do anything with. Her. She's
well,
still walking.
How would you feel about mining some limestone?
Cylin just slowly looks up at you. Cylin has no druidic magic yet. Like, you've just asked her if she wants to hand pickaxe limestone out of the forest. She goes, yes, that's what I want to do. That sounds great.
I thought so.
I hate this. Cylin is continuing to count.
I know. I hope that we can find something that you'll be interested in around here.
Cylin finally kind of like brushes her fingers through her hair and fixes it from when you messed it up. And she's like, well, you know, one day I'll think of something that doesn't make Mom and Dad super duper uncomfortable, that I'm going to run away with all of the druidic notes of the world and tell the populace how to speak bird.
We all know you wouldn't talk about us at all because you wouldn't be interested in doing that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the first human who bats his eyelashes at me will convince me, sister. Lord knows, with their broad shoulders, that everything just fades away from my silly little androidic mind.
Speaking of undruidic, Navara, did you have any fun conversations with your stroll?
I did. I told them how good I am at standing.
Oh, I knew it. You're the best stander.
I sure am. So good at standing nice and still. I want you to know that every time I say this, I'm physically saluting. And I realize no one can see.
Cylin's like just like mumbling under her breath. You'll find something, Cylin. Everybody has something promising, Cylin. Maybe you'll learn how to stand better, Cylin. Blah 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 blah. Druiding is so much fun. Don't you want to do it for the rest of your life?
Oh, What do you want to do?
I want to pet puppies and get laid.
You're not old enough for the second yet.
You know what everyone wants.
Listen, I know.
There's not even
I
any
know.
guys your age around us.
That's because we're elves. Guys my age in any other race would be illegal for me to have fun with. I just want to be an adult. Oh well, I'll get there eventually, and I'll hate it when I'm there, I'm sure.
Well, we should head back. Did you figure out how many of us druids that are going to need to grow the plants properly this year?
Oh yeah. As
No.
she, comedic timing. Kaylin walks up and is like, "Oh yes, you can actually stop doing that. I kind of forgot how wide the spell radius is. It's actually a half mile. There's more than enough room. We're all good." I
Okay.
forgot how the spell
Cylin
works.
stops mid-step, looks up at Kaylin, grabs a pouch of some sort of herb off of her belt and just throws it in Kaylin's face and starts walking back towards the forest.
I genuinely didn't plan that. I was looking up to see how much it is so that I could answer the question. And then I read half mile radius, and I'm like, oh, disregard.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's good. Then they can expand next year with the amount of people that they're having. They're probably going to have babies to feed soon. And oh my gosh, humans breed.
Oh, yeah. And then 2 would be more than plenty for this size.
Okay. Well, let's head home. We have a lot to talk with the council about.
Hmm.
This is going to be a fun conversation because I just promised them 80 tons of limestone.
Do we have that?
Oh, that's what your sister said.
Looks over at Navarre's like, do we have that? I mean, I know you've always been a bit better at math than I am, but 80 tons? Really?
Don't you ever just stand and look at the stones?
No, can't say that I have. I much prefer
Oh my
hiding amongst the
goodness.
trees. You always have to keep an eye out for the shifty ones.
Oh my fucking god.
Have you seen any of these shifty ones lately? I say jokingly and nudge her.
Mm. And she kind of, and she's looking around and she's like, we're not really supposed to talk about those out here, but there may have been a non-zero number of shifty things wandering around.
You've still never explained to me what shifty things are.
Uh, okay, so out of character, I was attempting to describe fey critters because they tend to be illusionary fuckholes.
Okay.
So she's basically, I have headcanons that she has had entirely too much experience with, like, illusionary, fey critters, and so she is constantly worried about them, like, hanging around and fucking with her.
Okay. Well, then I'll take back what I last said.
That is fair.
All right. So, there is not much else to do in town, so I would assume you guys would head back.
Yes, we do.
All
Before
right.
dark.
Before dark.
So
You
Mom
actually-
doesn't worry about Cylin.
Cylin kind of leads the way into the woods. You guys take a couple corner turns, a couple ducks behind trees, activate a few spells, set up a few things behind you so you guys can't be followed. You don't notice anybody following you, but it's just practice at this point. You get back in to your home without too much problem. It is a beautiful little area that your family in particular lives in. There's a couple little pockets of different buildings for your circle. Your family is large enough that it has a pretty decent sized little pocket in there.
Are you supposed to have the picture up at this point?
I'm sending it now.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Oh,
Ooh,
new photo.
very nice. Very Hawking-like.
Very, very Hawking-like. But you guys sit up kind of like on the edge of a little freshwater ravine, following a creek coming out of the town. Give you guys some extra water, a little bit more sunshine for some extra plants than deep in the woods would give you. You get too much deeper, and you're not going to have enough sun for most agriculture. Um, but you do notice something that, even as you're walking up, there's a little bit more people running around doing things than normal. You kind of notice some people not from your immediate family.
Uh, I
Excited.
immediately start looking for my mom
Oh, I.
or my grandmother.
Okay. Um, so your mom is actually the one, she looks like she's kind of looking for you as well. Um, and she kind of like darts through some of your aunts and uncles, and is like, hey, hi. Oh, hi. Welcome back. How did it go? How did it go?
Well, we gotta get some limestone, and by some limestone, I mean a lot of limestone. But it was worth it to keep them as friends and not have to cut down our trees. And we get
Fair.
glass,
Fair.
lots of glass, even
Glass.
stained glass
You got
for your bedroom window.
well, we don't have to tell them about that. And you hear one of the uncles go, "You can't be saying things like that. The elders are here. I'll say what I want. I'll say what I want. I want stained glass in my bedroom, and they can suck it." Anyways, dear, um, she kind of looks around and she goes, "Well, I guess there's really no avoiding the fact that there are other people here." And you kind of see off in the distance that your brother's or your father's brother is there, Mendantus, and he is kind of also loitering around watching you. Everybody else seems to be kind of peering out of you out of the corner of their eye, and like, there's actually some like elders of the elder circle kind of coming in and out of the houses and looking around. Um, and eventually you even see Someli, who is your mother's father. So like your great grandfather.
Okay.
He is a member of the elder circle, kind of like sitting up near the main house's kitchen, watching you carefully. She goes, congratulations on. I'm assuming you passed the test. The elders will talk to you later and tell you finally or not, but I don't want you to kind of be blindsided by how many people are loitering. They kind of give you this mission to kind of feel out if you could handle talking to normies, as you do, and keeping things close to the chest. They actually sent a couple of their familiars out to the city to watch you. So as long as you didn't spill any beans about anything, you passed. And I'm assuming you didn't. You're a responsible girl.
But what did I pass?
Oh, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. They had you in mind for something, and they just wanted to make sure. It's not my place to say. You know how they get all grumpy when you spoil their secrets. But anyways, why don't you come into the kitchen with me, and we'll get things situated for dinner, and I'm sure they'll tell you over dinner.
I walk into the kitchen and automatically start looking around.
So as you're looking around, the kitchen is a rather large space.
Very
You know,
nice.
it's obviously meant to entertain extended family, not just immediate family, and has a lot of wares. There's a couple other people bopping around. A cousin here, an aunt there, kind of situation. But they seem to be giving you and your mom some space. And she's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why don't you go ahead and feed Sebastian, and then we'll get started on stuff."
I glare, but I go and grab his favorite tuna and start dicing it up for him.
Very quickly, you notice something very weird. And that is Sebastian is not at your ankles screaming for tuna.
Mom,
Yes, dear.
where is Sebastian?
Oh, I saw him a couple hours ago. Is he not? And she kind of looks around. And she goes, "Well, that is weird. Um, hmm. It's been a couple hours since I've seen him. Um,
Did someone leave the door open?
well, the door's always open, dear. I. It's just weird that he runs off at all. Why don't you take your cousins and go look in the woods for him? Um, and I'll finish up dinner. We can go over everything once you're done. I'm sure he's fine. He's probably
He's
just.
a dumb cat, Mom.
I can't help that he has 3 brain cells and none of them work at the same time. It's not my fault.
I sigh and take the tuna and yell for Cylin to come with me. Cylin, I need your help!
Cylin kind of.
Sorry, forgot I was muted.
Let's see. Hold on, real quick. Let me get a couple things fixed here. We need Navari to be Katie. There we go. People.
I also see Marilee, Navari, and Kaylin and call them all.
All right. So your cousins all kind of line up and they're like, "All right, what's the concern?"
Mom let Sebastian out.
Surprisingly, Cylin is missing as well. So she is not responding. She must have gone into the woods to chill out or something before everything and kind of like petered off when she noticed the elders were around.
And I'm totally not surprised.
Yeah. So, now comes the fun time of finding Sebastian. So,
This is great. Thank you, Carissa.
And
so what you guys are going to have to do is you are going to have to move around and look for Sebastian, and you're going to make rolls. Obviously, it ended up only being 2 players tonight, so not as many people as was originally planning on. So you will have to, Shava, tell Kaylin where, not Kaylin. I really don't appreciate them keeping the names like that. It's very rude of them.
that they are
You're
all
gonna,
strength.
yes. You're gonna have to tell Morelli where to go. Your character sheet,
Which one's Morelli?
Katie. Morelli is the one that was sitting with you.
Yes, but which circle is Morelli?
She's the last. She's the one right before you in initiative order, I believe.
Okay, cool.
So I will try to fix their names in there. You should be able to open up Navara, Katie, and you can see that you get bonuses to rolls dealing with athletics, survival, nature, and investigation because you stand at the door.
Wait, is my personality actually surrounded by door?
You got a current stat block because you picked to be surrounded by door. So there was a couple different stat blocks you could have gotten. The choices of how you decided to roleplay got which stat block.
There was a stat block for Katie panics and just really goes all in on being the door. Fantastic.
So Lindsay will continue to kind of pseudo control Kaylin because she doesn't know what I'm doing with Sebastian. Kaylin gets bonuses, as Shava would know. She's very good with magic-y stuff and performance. And then Morelli is good with acrobatics and sneaking.
Ooh, so she can try to sneak up on Sebastian.
Exactly. So, let me change their names in the fucking thing real quick. Little shits. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum,
Morelli
bum.
is very quiet.
Morelli doesn't have time for the shenanigans that are happening. She got 3 hours of sleep. All right, she's just a tired little girl. She
She's
can't.
recovering from the Nora.
Yes, there we go.
What's the Nora?
She was supposed to be controlled by Day.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was trying to make a joke there. My bad.
Have you stopped me from moving again, or can I just not control this character?
You cannot control it because you're in combat. That'll keep people from moving around too fast.
Okay.
So I'm currently getting everybody's fucking name to be right.
They don't look very much like triplets.
They don't. They look all very different.
I mean, there are things called fraternal twins, or in this case,
They
triplets.
are definitely fraternal.
Oh yeah, they're not identical.
Okay, but fraternal triplets is hard. Normally, some of them are identical.
True, very true. But these are elves.
Elves' genetics may be different.
That could be true.
So we're just going to ignore it, and we're also going to ignore the extreme hair envy I have over all three of them.
The way that I am in love with my character, she is so pretty.
I am very pleased. I'm very pleased I got the one with the springy hair. It is nice.
All right. So what you guys are going to do is you are going to go explore the woods. And you are going to try to track down Sebastian. And as time goes on, actually, I need to add him to the move order. One moment.
Oh, he's gonna move too.
Oh yeah, he is. He is having a good old time, and you're gonna have to go spoil his fun. So he's gonna go last though.
Thoughtful, Sebastian.
There we go. All right. So, Kaylin, you get to move first.
Oh, yes, sorry. All right. Because the thing I would initially let me pop open this character sheet here real quick to double check something. Okay, I'm not particularly good at that. All right. I'm going to attempt to use knowledge nature to see if maybe there's like a supply of like native catnip that grows around here, and think he might have wandered over there.
Mm-hmm.
I will attempt to roll knowledge nature. Normal. Ah! Oh. Did not do well.
So Kaylin would unfortunately know there's a handful of places on the map that would attract somebody of cat-like nature, of the mint variety. Let's see if I can get this. No, it will not let me ping. That's annoying.
You can do what I have done and draw little circles around things of interest.
Yeah, it's what I'm working my way towards. Oh, right. So there's actually one right nearby. There is one in the upper rightish, and there's one on the far left.
All right, I'm going to, in that case, head towards. I will tell my associates here, or I guess, sorry, siblings and cousin. I keep forgetting we're all related. I'm used to just party dynamics. It's like, all right, I think he might be in one of like up there as I attempt to point to the various directions. There's also this spot over here, but it's been several hours. I can't imagine he'd still be that close to the house. So I'm going to go to the one up. I'm going to say north because I don't know what direction is what, but the one up. I'm going to start going in that direction.
Okay.
Do I have my full movement, or because I rolled, do I only have 30 feet? Like if I wanted, do I have an action?
You can do full movement. It's okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to do hard rolls here. This is mostly just to keep everybody from
running roughshod over everything. Yep.
Exactly.
All right, so I will end my turn then. Boop.
Ooh, I can move. No, I can't.
You should be able to. It's weird. You have ownership. Has 30-foot movement. What do you have selected? Like on the left-hand side?
The person and the square.
Bizarre. All right, point out where you want to go.
There was one over here, but the circle doesn't exist because it's behind a tree. But wherever the circle is.
Over there?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get you started in that direction. I will double check that you have the correct permissions. There we go.
Now I can end the turn because that option was there before. Since I'm so close to the circle, am I allowed to do a roll? Am I allowed to investigate if the cat's here?
Yeah, go ahead. There is in fact no Sebastian here, and you are close enough to everybody else to tell them that.
Fantastic. I scream back, no cat.
Okay.
Where do you want Morelli to move?
Here's the question. Does Morelli care about Sebastian?
Morelli cares about the fact that you care about Sebastian.
Okay. She knows he likes tall grass.
Okay.
So where's their tall grass?
The tallest grass is probably going to be the riverbank.
Where is this riverbank?
It is the southwest corner of the map.
Aha. Okay. So she is going to head over.
Give me a second and I'll actually give you control of her.
Okay.
And then you can just move her because there's no point in me moving her for you if I can do that correctly. Where, oh, where? My permissions. Can I? Thank you. Good God. All right. See if you can move her now. Beautiful.
How far is she allowed to go?
60. So the end of that yellow.
Perfect. And now she's going to take a look around.
Okay.
Do I need to roll a d20?
If you open up her character sheet, just by double clicking on her token, you should
I
be
don't
able to just roll
have
it
a character sheet.
Even if you double click on the token.
Oh. Haha.
And then just roll perception. And I'll add the proper bonuses. Or nature, depending on whatever. Roll her like you would a character. She doesn't think anything's around. But
Okay.
Navara recently searched a similar area, so not a really big deal. She's probably a little not giving a shit yet.
Where in this area?
Mhm.
Oh, I need to end my turn, don't I?
Yep.
Where is it?
It's in the combat tracker.
I see it.
Second one. There you go.
Okay. Where are there toxic flowers?
Toxic flowers. Unfortunately, this is a deep wood. There is a decent chunk of toxic flowers. Your closest ones are going to be here because there's some little fey boys that like to sneak into the woods sometimes. And then one kind of at the intersection. Something died there recently.
Wait. Sorry, I have to zoom out.
It's okay.
Did you just make that big circle and this one up here?
Yep, this is where the
Okay.
fey thingies are, and this one up top is where something died recently, and there's been some weird mushrooms growing.
Okay. So I am going to go over where the weird mushrooms are.
Okay.
Do I also have 60?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just to confirm, your assumption is that your cat is immediately going to beeline it for whatever toxic substances they can eat? Because I respect that, because that is cat in nature.
Sebastian also ate a lily and cost me a lot of money, over $1,500 in vet bills.
Yeah, that would do that.
I am going to roll a nature. If I have a check next to it, is that advantage or just normal?
No, that means you are
Proficient.
proficient, so your proficiency bonus will naturally add to it.
Okay.
So, what were you specifically looking for?
Sebastian.
All right. As you look around, you don't really notice any signs of tuft fur or broken branches or things out of the ordinary or chewed leaves as of yet.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to do 2 rolls for Sebastian. We're going to do a roll to see if he continues to be entertained by what he's doing.
I just want you to know Sebastian is sitting on the corner of the couch, glaring down at Oliver and Kalana.
Nice. So we're gonna do a roll. 10 or lower, he moves on. 10 or above, he continues to be entertained. And then we're gonna do another roll to see if he makes noise. So 10 or lower, he doesn't make any noise. 10 or above, he does.
Okay.
So first roll. He remains interested in what he's looking at. I don't know if that's what I said, but that's what I'm going with because that's what I had in my brain. And he does, in fact, make some noise. So for off from the middle of the woods, actually from the first place I gave you, this little Fey activity area, you guys all hear. "Meow." So it's somewhere in this direction, this little chunk here, from where you guys
Okay.
all are at.
Okay.
Um,
Alright. Having heard the sound of feline, I venture in the direction of where feline was heard. Since I don't know specifically where in this direction sound of feline was heard, I am going to roll an investigation to see if feline is in proximity to me.
okay.
I do not know if I see nothing. I see nothing, but I see nothing regardless. I shall say.
There's in fact a lot of nothing going on right now.
Yes.
You think you heard him, but that's about it. Navara,
I'm moving. Oh, I'm moving too much. How much can I move?
60, wherever it stops yellow. If you get a red box, it's too far.
Trying to see which 60 looks the closest.
Oh, and
I
there might also
collided.
be walls.
I went into a tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say there might also be some walls there in relation to tree and fallen tree. You might need to go around the fallen tree.
Yeah. It's supposed to be auto mapping for you, but it's not working tonight, so we're just going to have to leave it be. There was, of course, another system update yesterday.
How thick is this tree, team?
Right there. For meta reasons, it's this branch right here that's keeping you from moving.
Okay.
Generally speaking, the stuff that's kind of like blurred into the ground isn't going to stop you.
All right, I'm gonna look. Am I close enough to look to see if there's cat or no?
Yeah, roll whatever you would like to look with.
I would like to look with whatever is good. I'd like to look with athletics. How do we feel?
How do you look with your muscles? Perhaps consider investigation, which you also have bonuses on.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Ooh, yeah,
I just thought it would be funny if I asked to do this. I didn't think you'd actually say yes.
Totally fair. By the way, this is the first time I opened up Navarra's thing. That is, in fact, some very pretty art right there. Dang.
Right? It's beautiful.
I think
Love
I
it.
can see, but I don't know for sure. How lucid is this
You
cat?
can, in fact, see a little orange paw northeast of you, or northwest of you, of a little cat batting at little fairy lights.
Oh, the cat! Hello! Can I scream loud enough for anyone to hear? I found
Yeah,
the
you
cat's over
absolutely
here.
can. Yeah.
What's the cat's name? Sebastian. Sebastian! He's over here! He's batting at this fairy lights.
He is like half out of a bush, kind of like batting at something, obviously trying to hide the fact that he's there, but he's there. It is Morelli's turn.
And she, hearing the yell, is going to run up 60 feet. And it is really cool seeing how you have a different view. Okay, turns over.
Okay.
Okay. I am also going to run up 60 feet. And I ran into a wall. And I pull out the fish that I had in my pocket
Okay.
and go,
All right.
and my
So
turn is over.
good news is that you pulled out that fish because none of you rolled stealth to run up on the cat. You all just fucking bolted at him. So he was 100% gonna split.
I
But
was just so excited.
you
I was
you
nowhere
pulled out
near
the
him.
fish. So we're gonna do another coin flip to see if he stays or goes.
Okay.
Odds he leaves, or sorry, 1 through 10 he leaves, 11 through 20 he stays.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so he stays.
Success.
Slay.
Sorry. So next roll. Is he more interested in the bush that he's hiding in and being an ass, or is he more interested in the fish? Unfortunately, he really likes his bush.
Slay.
So while his pupils have kind of blown wide and he does in fact love tuna, he kind of butts his little back up into the bush and hunkers down and just stares at you. And that's his turn.
I have to let my dog outside really quick. I will be right back.
Okay.
All right.
So, hear me out.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
This time I can use athletics because I'm trying to tackle the cat without hurting it.
I don't know if you.
This
I
is
will allow it.
legitimately how I catch my small dog. I tackle her, like knee first, so I fall on my knees so I don't hurt her.
Like a slide tackle.
Basically.
Okay.
Adorable.
I love this plan. I don't know if you have the 60 feet to get there.
Can I
We will-
check?
Yeah. So
Oh my god, you
Oh,
have the 60
cat is
feet.
55.
Oh my god, you have the movement. Oh my god, I want to see this. But
I'm gonna
I
okay.
am back.
All right.
welcome
well,
back.
Well, I still have my characters to move yet, and then Katie can do her shenanigans. In the meantime, I'm going to try and like circle around this way in case to try and cut off the cat, and I'm going to try and stealth as I do so. Do you want the roll before or after I move? Was I muted? No, I'm not muted.
No, you were not.
Carissa. Carissa. Did she wander off and I forgot something? Did I miss a thing?
I don't know. So Foundry lost connection with me for a second.
I did
Maybe
notice you.
something happened as well.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. What was that?
I am going to try and move sort of around this side here in case the cat tries to book it.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and do so stealthily. But I wanted to know if you wanted the roll before or after the movement.
Go ahead and just give it to me after the movement.
Okay.
He's distracted by tuna.
End up right about there. And stealth. There it is. Normal. I am moderately stealthy.
Enough for the distracted cat to not notice you.
Okay. And that is my turn.
All right, so I am going for the tackle where you fall knee first. Encompassed cat. I'm on top of the cat, and then I'm going to roll athletics because.
Roll me an athletics check.
Come on. No!
No!
I'm on athletics, and for what?
This was gonna be
Unfortunately, you make a better door than a trap. So, as you're sliding towards Sebastian, he sees you coming, and that beautiful, beautiful bush that he decided to help out in grabs your knees, and you kind of just fall flat in front of him.
Do you want me to, like, actually fall in front of him?
No, that's okay. I got him.
For thematic. Okay.
And he, as a reaction, kind of starts to bolt.
My bad, team.
To be fair, you did do what you're good at.
It would have been so epic. You had personal life experience explaining to us how the heck you could use athletics to capture a cat. I love it.
That was really low check too.
Oh.
I mean, I did get a 6.
Yeah, not much you could do about it.
Morelli is going to try to sneak over this way.
Okay.
And not attract attention to herself. So she's going to move and then roll. How do I see her? Okay. Stealth.
Good enough. Sebastian is already
Cool.
bolting. He's not paying attention.
Also, I love how the cat has more HP than any of the actual, like, characters.
We don't want the cat to die.
No.
No, of course not. We're not accosting the cat. I just saw it, and I'm like, God dang! I immediately remembered the freaking D&D cat killing a commoner jokes is all.
Okay. So Shava is going to run up 60 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's her cat, she's not being quiet. And she's going, no, 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 and waving the fish. So she is worried.
All right. In real life, would that work on Sebastian?
No.
All right. So we're going to roll. Sebastian is now being chased with waving food. We're going to roll a d10 to see if he loses interest in the waving food. Why are you going backwards,
where are you
darling?
going?
Because Sebastian is moving my stuff.
Sebastian
That's
decided you
fucking
got
great.
too close to catching him.
He's like, no, back it up. I got more shit to do in game. All right. 1 through 10, he loses interest in the fish. He has lost interest in the fish. So, this is what we're going to do. Sebastian darts into the grass. All of you are going to roll me. Let's see if I can get this to do it. Request roll. I'm going to have you all request me. Come on.
Do I roll them all?
Yes. So, it should be requesting perception. Just go ahead and roll those for me.
Why is one of them fail? Do I fail it?
You shouldn't.
Okay.
Is
Then I
it
won't
making
hit
you
that
do
one.
it? Okay.
No, there were two options. I didn't know which one to hit.
Gotcha. Oh, that's so that's a little insider thing. Just so you guys know, if you ever want to auto fail a roll that we request from you, you can. And the other
Okay.
players won't know.
Okay.
When it's thematically appropriate to land flat on your back.
Exactly. If you want your character to not do the thing that I'm requesting you to do, that is the way to do it without giving that away.
Okay.
All right. Unfortunately,
Oh
Oh,
dear.
wait. Do I need to roll for Morelli?
I think did
Yeah.
I? Yes. Did you not get a pop up for her?
No, only for Shava.
All right. Can you just open up her character sheet and roll one for me?
Okay, what am I rolling?
Perception.
Perception. She does not care.
Well, one person succeeded. Maybe.
Luckily, Nivara actually did succeed. So Nivara, you kind of see Sebastian dart across straight north, and into the bushes where
Okay,
he
see,
disappears again.
it's correcting his pathing there.
Yeah, which means it's correct for me, but not for players. So I'll have to
Hmm.
check the settings. But it
Oh
is
my god, he
possible.
disappeared.
Yeah, because he disappeared into the woods. But you did get to see which way he went. If
Karen,
you would have failed, you wouldn't have known where he was going. All
I
right.
wail. No!
And with that, Sebastian has hidden once more.
all right. I did not see where he darted. However, I do know, assuming that Shava mentioned it to us, that we are close to the other poisonous zone up here, and I want to, if nothing else, go up there to dissuade him from running into the poisonous field. So
Thank you!
I'm still going
Am I
to
allowed
stealth
to
though, on the
scream?
off chance he does run in, so that way I can like scoop the cat as he tries to dart into the poison. If for some reason he chooses to purposefully run to his death, so I'm going to move and then I will roll stealth.
Okay. What were you asking, Katie, while she moves?
Oh, sorry.
I was asking whether I can say he went north or whether that's a my turn thing.
Oh,
Unfortunately for this, it is a U-turn thing.
Okay.
It happened very quickly.
fair. All right. Let me roll here. Stealth. I love this. Just click once, hit normal, all the things. I am stealthy.
You are so stealthy. Sebastian
Nice.
doesn't even know what's coming.
Heck
Probably.
yes.
Alright, so I scream to the surroundings. I saw him go north. And then I go north. And now I'm gonna try to reinvestigate this cat.
Okay.
Are you attempting it? Oh yeah, because you got to find the cat. Right.
Right, cat's missing. But not for long, because this is about to be a natural 20.
It was so
No.
close to a 19.
You see a flicker of orange fur kind of directly in front of you. He didn't get very far.
Like directly, like as in straight up?
Like straight up.
Okay.
You're not quite sure where, but you do know he is in the vicinity. You can hear it in a little fur ball running around underneath the bushes. Meow.
Alright. I scream he's close.
Okay. So Morelli is gonna come up and run as far as she can.
Okay.
And is looking around, but does she need to roll? It's pretty far away from her.
You can try to roll. It'd have to be a pretty decent roll. But it's
Okay.
worth looking at.
She's gonna roll nature.
All right. That is good enough that you can also kind of confirm where he is. And between the two of you, kind of looking around, he kind of pops back up again. It's not sure if he'll be there when you get over there, but he's definitely in that area.
And Morelli is going to yell to Shava, "Good God, be quiet."
I love this. Question: did the screen, the setting get dimmer, or is my computer being an ornery child?
Got dimmer.
Okay, just wanted to make certain. Carry on.
So I'm going to take it to heart and come up here not screaming this time. Now I am going to roll perception.
Okay. He's probably there. You think you see orange. It's not low enough that I'm going to remove his token, but it's hard to tell which way he's planning on darting next.
Okay. Let me end my turn.
All right. Because Sebastian loves to be sick, he is actually going to dart over here to the poison area
Haha.
because you passed your stealth check. He can kind of hear people coming up behind him. Let's see if he sees you as he actually gets up on you, though. He
Nope.
doesn't. All he sees is potential tummy aches and joy.
Stealthy as hell.
So he skitters to a halt in front of a very lovely looking mushroom and is contemplating it.
Okay. I am going to hang on. Let me look at my list here. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't know what. I guess it would be animal handling to just try and like jump down and grab this cat. Take a step, grab cat.
Yes, unfortunately, you got the nerd.
I got the Well, wait. Hang on. I am a first level druid. Let me see what potential cantrips I have.
You have done, Lindsay. I did not prepare any for you.
Dang it!
You have flat rolls.
Ah!
All you get.
Fine. All right. In that case, then I shall move one to be in proximity to cat, dropping the stealth and praying that this unaffected animal handling. Oh fuck! No, I was so close.
As your fingers dart down to try to like gently scoop Sebastian up, he catches a whiff of "not my owner" and looks at you deeply offended, just terribly offended,
Okay.
and does a little cat dodge out of your way before once again darting deeper into the woods.
Damn it. On the bright side, he is no longer adjacent to the poison.
He is no longer adjacent to poison.
We accept minor victories.
Also, there's only so much wood.
There
He's
is.
just running out of going up.
Little do you guys know, when he reaches the end, Sebastian will be lost forever.
What?
Oh, God.
No.
I'm joking. I'm not going to do that.
I was about to be like,
Like a spell wall there?
Oh, I need to hit
Alright.
the button. I'm so sorry. Brain
Yeah.
glitch there. Carry on.
This branch is probably in your way. There you go.
This time, I'm going to do it the right way.
Okay.
And I'm going to sneak.
Valid. He's too busy being offended to take strong notice of you.
Okay. So Morelli feels like she's very far behind.
Okay.
And runs up another 60.
Very fair. Very fair.
And then does her normal trying to spot.
Again, you kind of see an orange poof where he is, but it's hard to tell what he's planning on doing. He's doing a butt wiggle, though. That's a little weird.
Oh no. This time, my character is going to walk up slowly.
Okay.
Plop down on the floor
Ah, fuck.
in a sitting position,
Okay.
holding out the fish and going. So that is going to be what? Animal handling, perception, or not perception?
Animal handling.
Animal handling? Okay.
So you can tell from where you're at that Sebastian is considering to climb the tree in front of him. Luckily, your distracts him enough that he does in fact turn towards you and is now making eye contact.
Okay.
There are also sound effects, apparently.
I'm enjoying the woodland sound effects.
So, everybody has been relatively stealthy. Nobody's running up on him anymore. Sebastian decides, you know what? I do in fact like tuna. And slowly starts walking towards Shava.
I am going to back away slowly, but still stay in the proximity of the poison field in case he decides to be an idiot. I'm going to just back up here. I'm going to do stealthy rolls so as to not alert or concern the castle.
Since you only moved under 30, go ahead and give me advantage on the stealth roll.
Nice. Oh, fucking hell! Well,
Sebastian is definitely looking at you and takes a step back.
I tried.
You like tripped over a branch or something. You got distracted by the poison mushrooms. They're making you a little lightheaded.
So I'm going to do what I do best and stand still.
You be that door.
I'm
just
gonna
say
be
you
the door.
succeeded that. You just succeeded being a door. Good for you.
Thank you. I'm not moving this cat. I'm still. My whole character trait. Coming
Morelli
in.
also skips her turn.
Okay. What you doing,
Okay.
Shava?
And Shava is going to roll animal handling and keep the fish out for Sebastian. Apparently, he doesn't want this fish.
Sebastian has decided that fish is exactly 30 seconds too old for him. That fish will no longer work for Sebastian. He must have a fresh fish, and you know what is actually a lot more interesting than that fish? This tree.
Okay.
This has gone horribly awry, and I love it so much.
Sebastian spends his turn climbing the tree.
Oh, no.
God.
Sebastian is now 15 feet up in the air.
Oh.
Do we know how to climb trees?
You can?
I believe that's generally considered athletics.
Yeah.
I was so excited that my character arc of standing still was going to come to fruition right before we got the cat.
Psych. That tuna was stinky and not in a good way. Denied.
Tuna too old. Should have kept it refrigerated.
All right, I guess I'm going to approach the tree, not be like right up on it, but like in proximity so that if again he decides to jump down, I can be like in range to try and catch him if he happens to in my direction. So I'm going to go this much and go and roll stealth. Nope, that is not what I want. Nope, stop. Stop. I hit the wrong button. I'm so sorry. Okay, there we go.
Very nice.
Nice.
Very cool. Sebastian is too busy glaring down at Shava and her inadequate sacrifice of tuna.
Oh, button, right. I keep forgetting I have to hit the button. Moving on.
I'm climbing the tree.
All right, roll me.
I
Here, I'll
can't
put you up
actually
against
enter
it.
the tree. It's a wall.
It's fine. Yeah. Go ahead and roll me that athletics. You climb up the tree, but unfortunately, you haven't climbed trees in a little bit because you've been too busy being a door. So you're in the tree, and you haven't spooked the cat, but you don't get to him your turn.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go see what Morelli is good at. Okay. So Morelli is going to come up here
Mhm.
a little bit away from the tree.
Okay.
And she is going to meow like a cat.
You gonna roll me that deception?
I am. And she nails her meow.
Wow, that was
That
such a cat.
That is the most cat that Sebastian has heard in his entire life, actually. His pupils like blow wide, and he is just like making direct eye contact with Morelli and going. He is appeased.
Fantastic. So Shava sees what's going on.
Yes.
So instead of getting super close to Morelli, understanding that the fish doesn't work anymore, just, comes up closer and tries to emit calm with animal handling.
Okay. That works. Between the meowing and the animal handling, Sebastian is thoroughly sedated. Could have just given him catnip to get the same effect, but this is a close second. And he kind of just flops onto his branch, purring.
Well, shit, it seems like everyone kind of got this handled, and I've got nothing I can contribute, so I'm just going to similarly stand perfectly still and not fuck with anything. Like, the plan is working. I will not interfere with the plan.
All right.
I don't know if you need me to roll stealth to maintain standing perfectly still.
Had he not been so sedated, I would have had you roll.
Okay.
With him being sedated, you do get door privileges, unfortunately.
Excellent.
You're
Moving.
lucky. Normally that has to be your entire character.
It does.
That is fair. I appreciate this gift you have given me of allowing me to be a door.
Isn't it great?
Yes. Door privilege.
All right.
Where am I in relation to the cat? Like, could I touch the cat?
Yes, you absolutely could. You could reach out and grab the cat.
Quick question about cats. I've seen a cat jump 9 feet and be fine. How is 15?
He'd be fine.
I'm going to push the cat in the general direction of Shava.
I'm gonna have you roll me an intelligence check before you do that.
That was really disrespectful. I'm just gonna...
Oh, that wanted to be a one. That wanted to be
Sure,
a one.
you push that cat.
What would that be? Animal handling?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
you roll that animal handling. You push him. That is definitely a thing you do. And poor Sebastian, who was happily sitting in a tree, is now falling 15 feet onto the ground, looking fucking bewildered and startled once more.
Look, I asked out of the game if that was an okay thing to do.
I said you could do it. I'm sorry. Did you say okay thing to do?
I was like, would this hurt the cat? And you're like, no,
Yeah.
of course not.
It wouldn't hurt the cat.
I still, okay, tripping down 2 stairs did not hurt me. I still don't want to do it. I'm so startled.
I thought you were asking because if you failed and he fell out of the tree, you were worried he'd be hurt.
Yeah, that's what I thought was happening.
I didn't think it's reasonable to grab a cat and climb down with one arm. I didn't think that was an option.
You've clearly not seen the cat rescue people. I don't know if y'all have seen those TikToks where like there's the straight up like dude with the whole like tree trimming harness and stuff, and he just goes up and he grabs cat. To be fair, he does usually have a bag within which he puts the cat. That is fair. I forgot the bag. And Navarra does not have a bag unless you say she has a bag.
Wasn't planning on it.
Because when I was trying to get my cat out of a tree, I could not climb down with one arm holding my cat.
That is
look.
fair. Okay, look.
Maybe
You
I
did not
messed
hurt
up
the cat.
here.
The cat is fine. The cat is on the
He is
ground.
fine.
I'm sorry.
Also, remove the plus 15. Unless, can I do it? Do I have the authority
I got
to do
it.
this?
It's fine.
Okay, cool. I was just trying to see if I could be helpful. All right.
Oh, can I get out of the tree? No, it's fine. I'll stay in the
Nope,
tree.
that was your action. You're stuck in the tree still.
It's good. I got some big biceps.
Morelli just face plants trying to catch Sebastian.
Yep, that's definitely what just happened there. Morelli is now prone.
Did she succeed?
Okay. Now, Shava is going to use animal handling because she is terrified and wants to check to make sure Sebastian's okay. And as Shava is Sebastian's, like, friend, Sebastian lets her go up to him.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Yeah, no.
Yes. I think Sebastian is all spooked, and you can try to.
Oh my god, how are we failing this hard at catching a cat?
I forgot to move. I tried to get close first.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh my god, I'm so glad I recorded this.
oh my gosh.
As a reminder, I am still a door. I am an immovable, stealthy object.
Right there.
He may not be aware of my presence.
Stealthy.
He may book it into my proximity.
What if he would just do that?
All right. Sebastian just is confused and starts turning in circles. He looks a little bewildered, he doesn't look hurt. He looks perfectly fine. It was only a 15-foot drop into soft ground. We're gonna roll a d20 to see if he seeks out Shava for comfort. Low, no. High, yes. The bond of friendship does in fact work, and Sebastian jumps into Shava's arms. That leaves Shava holding Sebastian, Morelli looking like a door, Morelli flat on her face, Nivara up in a tree, and Kaylin looking like a door. Congratulations. You caught the cat.
Oh, yay!
Oh my god.
Good job, team. We all did a collective good job.
You did.
That was way more fun than it should have been.
This was fantastic. I love this so much. I'm glad I was able to be a part of it, even though normally I'm a DM. Holy balls. All right.
So, to wrap up, as you guys are going back to the house, Shava's uncle is kind of standing on the way back to the buildings, and kind of gestures to talk to Shava on his own.
I baby carry Sebastian with his paws on my shoulder and supporting his back end and go over with him.
Obviously, Nivara is not still 15 feet up in the air. I know this is
Oh,
hard to
good.
believe, but that is actually not what's happening.
Or Navara has learned her new magical ability,
Mm,
and it
You are-
is to float 15 feet up in the air.
that's
She
it.
actually learned to levitate.
That is a
You're a
spell.
floating door.
Is it? I was
Uh,
making a joke, the like Pokemon ability levitate.
No,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure levitating is a thing.
but yeah, if
Nice.
nothing else, the spell fly exists. I actually don't know if druids get it. Not important,
Ah,
Carissa. Continue with your endeavors. I'll just be looking it up because I'm a nosy creature.
All right, so Shava, you carry Sebastian over to the corner of the house where your uncle is obviously trying to get your attention. So your uncle is a quiet man. He is your father's brother, and kind of like sitting beside him is a little gray wolf, obviously pretty young still, kind of just happily wagging its tail, staring at you. You would know through years of interacting with your uncle that he is very much like a person who always has an animal companion or a familiar of some variety with him. That's kind of where his specialty lies when it comes to being a druid. Over the years, he seems to pick up a few more like rangery qualities compared to the average druid, and because of that, he spends a lot of time by himself, even though your circle is pretty familial based. Um, he kind of looks at you and goes, I'm glad you found Sebastian.
Me too.
So,
I say, and I pet him, and then I reach down and give his familiar a pat on the head and a respectful nod.
his familiar's tail just wags a little bit faster, and you hear it thumping against the ground. Mendatus kind of like chuckles a little bit. He goes, unfortunately, I need to leave soon, and you have an entire dinner to get to as well. Um, don't tell them I told you, but they are going to offer you a mission to the Isles of Midas.
Oh. Oh. But why?
They believe that you are the perfect fit of being able to go under the radar. You don't have a ton of Fey magic yet, but you are competent and bright. And they're hoping that you will be a good mediator with the circle that's there. They have some desire. They think they might have found a place where the veil is a little thin, and they want somebody to investigate it, but not draw attention.
I'm quiet for a few seconds before nodding and saying, thank you for letting me know.
Of course. Normally it wouldn't be my job, but anyways, the main reason I'm telling you this is because I need to leave before dinner is done, and I wanted to give you this. And he reaches into his back pocket and he pulls out a small book and hands it to you. I wouldn't suggest using this on Sebastian. He's a little too.
Dumb.
That's a kind word for it. But one day you might find an animal companion while you're on the Isles that you would like to go on your adventure with you, but you don't want to be in danger. This book will help you make that animal a familiar for you before you'll be able to cast the spell yourself. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up because I know they're kind of sending you somewhere where I'm sure you will be fine, but you're not going to be as strong as some of the people you're up against, and I want you to be able to protect the animals you obviously care about.
I start to tear up. This is one of the biggest gifts I've ever been given. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a ritual book. I left a note in there on how to use it. The only spell that I personally prepared in it was the familiar spell. That way you could actually use it. Because you won't be able to learn it on your own for a while, but you should be able to put some of your other spells that your family will teach you before you leave into the book. That way you can cast them a little bit easier. Give you a bit of a leg up on the other people that are going to be around you. But I do need to get going. I have my own mission I have to get back to.
I give him a quick hug
He gives you a
and
hug
tell him
back.
to be safe.
He goes, of course, you as well. And if you need anything, I'm sure you'll be finding a way to contact me. And he excuses himself. He's a very private man. And that is the story about how Shava found out she was going to the Isles.
Like,
And how we rescued Sebastian.
More importantly, how you rescued Sebastian from eating poisonous mushrooms and being a dumbass.
and it took no effort. Super easy. Just like corralling a real cat.
Well, thank you. That was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I just want you to know Sebastian is laying on my desk on his back with his paws up in the air, and I'm rubbing his belly right now.
No.
That's adorable. But yeah, that is session 1 of the flashbacks done.
All right, cool. Should I stop recording, or do we have anything else we want to chat about before I turn it off?
I feel like you can stop recording. Anything else is
Okay.
probably just going to be semantics.
Fantastic.